What's the latest on new interesting free agent running back Dalvin Cook? We get into it late here on a Thursday night and early Friday morning. Let's get into it. Zoinks! It is unequivocally the Super Bowl for New York Jet fans.
Field Yates, baby. Field Gosh darn Yates. Let's bring him on the show.
Come on, people. Connor Rogers is joining the show. What's up, Connor? But Trevor Gosh darn Sycamore, baby, for me, personally, my favorite New York Jet of all time.
Wow, it's great to be on. What an intro that was right there.
Paul, nobody does an intro like you, man.
Paul, you give the best intro of literally any podcast that I've ever been.
I'm gonna lose my gosh darn bananas.
What's up, everybody? Paul Esden Jr., a.k.a. Boy Green. I'm the New York Jets digital reporter for Heavy.com. We're here to talk about a Dalvin Cook update and, of course, any other topics you guys would like to get into here randomly live late here on a Thursday night / Friday morning. Come on, baby. It's never too late to jump on. I got to tell you guys a quick story randomly, and I know for the people that are here for the Dalvin Cook thing are going to be annoyed, but I just have to tell you. So you see these headphones that are in my head. They're barely hanging on for dear life. They're breaking apart. But it's a really cool story. Back almost a decade ago when I was getting into radio, I entered this contest for Bose headphones. That's what these are. These are Bose headphones that are barely hanging on here, and they're on their last legs. But I won a contest, and Darrell Revis actually sent me these through the Bose company and signed a card and everything. I got to go find where that box is. But these headphones are on their last life. I've had them throughout my entire career. You guys will remember anything. You'll see these jet green Bose headphones. They're on their last life. So if you have a drink in your hand, pour one out for your homies. We're going to have to get new headphones. So that's kind of sad as these are breaking apart. But nonetheless, let's get into it here on the latest with Dalvin Cook. As you guys are watching this live stream, again, whether live or after the fact, we're streaming live in 3 different places. The Heavy on Jets Facebook page, my YouTube channel, youtube.com/BoyGreen25, and on Twitter as well, @BoyGreen25. We have a full column wherever you're watching with the latest details, and we'll get into that in just a second. But here's a cool little thing here. Dalvin Cook, by the way, is in flight. He is coming on over if he hasn't landed already. Let's throw it up on the big screen. Let's give a shout out to SoFlo Jets saying this, quote, "Oh shit, I just spotted Dalvin Cook in the Fort Lauderdale airport en route to visit the Jets. Can confirm he looks to be in great spirits. We're on the same flight." This was a couple of hours ago. Let's get the beautiful picture here. There he is. There's Dalvin Cook with a lot of baggage, a lot of luggage going on for Dalvin Cook. What is this man carrying? We can't zoom in on this. Like, is that a bag of cleats? What's happening there? But Dalvin Cook has packed his bags. He's on his way. Here are the latest details in which we can share. Here's the latest details in which we can share. Dalvin Cook obviously is in flight coming tonight, arriving any moment, I'm sure. I don't have all the plane tracking or any of that, but should be arriving here shortly if he hasn't already. On Friday, what's going to happen, as we're technically already in Friday today, he's going to do some media. He's going to be on Good Morning Football, the NFL Network show, and then he's going to be jumping over to the Jets facilities, and who will be participating in team meetings. That, according to Rich Cimini. And on top of the team meetings, which is fascinating to get him in there, the other thing he will be doing is getting a physical. Now, that's big news on a lot of fronts. Sometimes you'll get a visit and players don't go through physicals. It's just kind of a conversation. It's like the meeting before the meeting. Like when you're dating a girl and you kind of take her on a few dates to kind of get through the steps. That's kind of where sometimes it could go with free agency. The fact that they're immediately getting a physical in, to me, I think is a strong indicator that this thing is moving and grooving. There's a lot of other reasons why, and I'll get into them here on this live stream on why this is happening. But there is a lot of momentum towards a deal happening, and a deal happening, quite frankly, very quickly with Dalvin Cook. Again, he's flying here tonight / as we're speaking, live here after midnight. Okay, he's going to do some media, Good Morning Football. He's going to meet with the Jets, have some meetings with them. He's going to have his physical. Diana Rossini shared that most of his visits going to come on Sunday. Again, insiders sharing different information, different intel perhaps. But nonetheless, here is the latest. And again, this article is also attached wherever you guys are watching. NFL insider Tony Pauline of Sportskeeda said, quote, the belief around the league is Gangrene will sign him, Dalvin Cook, before the weekend is over. Unbelievable. How exciting is that? Dalvin friggin' Cook. Some more here from Pauline. He said he's been told by multiple league sources that believe, quote, the Jets won't allow Cook to leave the building before signing him to a contract. Quick side piece on that. I can't remember who was the insider, maybe Jeremy Fowler or whoever it was, that the Patriots have maintained interest in Dalvin Cook, and they're hoping to set up a visit, and they've maintained contact after the Jets. And again, if the Jets are playing their cards right, Dalvin Cook never leaves the building. You sign him on the dotted line, which, again, by all indications, is where this is headed. Now, there are a couple of hurdles that need to happen before Dalvin signs on the dotted line, which, again, could be coming very quickly here from that perspective. Number one, the financial component, of course. How much is Dalvin looking for? The running back market is suppressed. We're seeing that with the Saquon, Josh Jacobs. All these talented running backs are still free agents. Kareem Hunt, Leonard Fournette, Ezekiel Elliott, and obviously the aforementioned Cook, although his situation is unique. So you have all these guys in this market. What's the number? Now, it's important to know Dalvin Cook's getting $2 million no matter what he does. If he stays on the couch or whatever from the Minnesota Vikings, he has $2 million guaranteed. Maybe that factors into the year earnings, so to speak, that he could take a little less from his next location because, hey, I still got $2 million in my back pocket. But from all indications, Dalvin Cook doesn't want to reset the market or do anything crazy like a Christian McCaffrey deal, but he also wants a level of respect. He does not want to play for peanuts. So if this was some crazy short, small deal, short, like it could be a year with void years or there are constructions for a multi-year deal, but I would imagine it's going to be a one-year flyer, so to speak. Pretty good base. My anticipation for this contract is in the $4 or $5 million range with incentive packages built in that can add another $3 or $4 million to the table. Maybe a little bit less than that on the incentives, but that is what I'm anticipating here for the contract situation for Dalvin. So one of the hurdles, of course, is the contract. Robert Saleh said that back on July 20th. I'll leave that to Joe Douglas saying, quote, I know there's a lot of contractual stuff that goes with it. To me, I don't think this meeting happens unless they're close. Now, Craig Carton, of course, says they're $1 million apart. You know, I can't confirm or deny that. But what I can tell you is that they wouldn't have had this visit if they weren't close. There you go. So there's number one. I'll take a quick detour here because there's another hurdle. But I want to address something because I'm sure you guys, if you follow me on Twitter, @BoyGreen25, over the last week, you saw me send out a pair of eye emojis suggesting that something was about to happen. And I want to make it clear that I don't just lead you guys on. I'm not a guy that is an Adam Schefter, historically speaking. And at this current moment in time, I don't really plan on being one. And what I mean by that is breaking NFL stories. That's not my job. It's not on my job description. But there was an opportunity to do so earlier this week with the Dalvin Cook news, and I want to be as forthcoming as I can about what I knew and where we got here. Last weekend, I got as strong of an indication as you can from people very much in the know that would know this, that this Dalvin Cook Jets visit thing was happening. The when was the big question. So this was in discussion, letting you know from all the people that I spoke with, and let me just tell you, wink, wink. This was as good of knowledge as you can get. They discussed this past weekend about setting up a visit to go see the Jets and take the next step in that relationship. I can confirm that with my sourced information that was happening. But again, the when on the visit was the big thing. Ultimately, as we saw, it came out technically on Thursday. Today is Friday as we're recording this live, late Thursday night, early Friday morning. Is that has since been broken, obviously, Tom Pelissero, that Dalvin Cook will be making a visit and what ultimately kind of translates to a multi-day visit. So I can confirm that this visit potential has been in the works for over a week. So they've been talking about this and trying to figure out the right time. The Jets have off from practice both today on Friday and Saturday. They get back to practice on Sunday. If all this lines up, this can move very quickly. From everything I'm gathering, this Dalvin Cook thing is making some noise, and it is there's some heat here. There's absolutely some heat. So I wanted to address that because, again, with the insert eye emojis. Number two, the other hurdle. So number one, financials. But again, I think it's close enough of a gap that you can figure it out, or this visit in the way this is set up wouldn't have happened. Number two, it's the medicals. Now, for those who don't know, Dalvin Cook, going back from his days in college, and I remember Dalvin Cook here because I cover Syracuse football, ACC country, so Syracuse, Florida State, playing all the time. So I was well aware of Dalvin Cook and his collegiate career. And dating back to his collegiate career, he had some shoulder issues. I actually believe he broke his shoulder on one of the latter seasons. But the point is he's had these nagging shoulder injuries dating back to college, and it's kind of nagged him throughout his NFL career. Well, this offseason, he underwent surgery to repair the shoulder, and it was quote-unquote bothering him for the past couple of seasons. As I said, it goes back to his college days at Florida State, and the surgery, by all accounts, was a raving success and one that he would be ready for the 2023 season. Dalvin Cook's agent, Zach Hiller, joined me on the Boy Green Show on July 8th, and he told me that the shoulder is quote-unquote stronger than ever. There's been no setbacks, and he looks good to go from that standpoint. So we've been able to confirm that. But Robert Saleh said today that, and again, you guys can hear all the quotes and everything in the article that's attached to this show. Robert Saleh said another hurdle in this is the Jets, quote-unquote, getting their hands on him. Now, Dalvin could say the right things. His agent could say the right things. But until the Jets medical staff is grabbing this guy and checking him out, they need to give their own form of approval before this deal can be possible, of course, because if there was some sort of red flag with the shoulder, this would completely alter the perception of the deal, or certainly the finances involved with this move. By everything I know, the shoulder is fine, but the Jets medical staff will have to give that update from that perspective. But by all accounts, he's good to go. So the two big hurdles that are left in this, financial, of course, and medical. And that's obviously the Jets plan on Dalvin Cook taking that physical coming up here on Friday. Today. So again, physical goes well. This financial component, which could go very well, this could move very quickly. And before the end of the weekend, Dalvin Cook could be a New York Jet, which by the way, wildly, let me just take a detour, is incredibly exciting. It's incredibly tantalizing. The possibility, like Aaron Rodgers has been great this offseason for a lot of reasons, obviously. He's been fantastic. And by the way, I want to give a shout out to the YouTube super chat coming in from Small Heath Jet Petroleum, Boy Green Grindin', toss a coin, RESPECT, respect. Thank you so much, guys. And by the way, that's available for each and every one of you. If you'd like to support the show, feel free to throw in a YouTube super chat. Throw a little change in my tin cup. I will do a dance for you, baby. Also, the free way to contribute is by liking the video and hitting subscribe down below. We've been, the subscriber count has been, skyrocketing, baby. So I really appreciate all the support, everybody. I'll get to some of your questions, so feel free to throw those in, whether it's the Dalvin Cook thing, Sean Payton, or anything else from that matter. We'll also have another live show in a couple of hours for Boy Green Daily, because I'm a freak. But I wanted to come on, go beyond 20 minutes to try to answer a lot of the questions you guys may have. But more on that in a minute. But the Dalvin Cook thing is incredibly tantalizing. I get there's the Breece Hall perspective, the Breece Hall angle in it, but Dalvin Cook helps Breece Hall. He helps the Jets be super cautious with all of this, as they should be, quite frankly, with his recovery and rehab. And if you bring in a bell cow like him, it strikes fear into opposing defenses. That's the kind of respect he commands, and that's what he brings to the table. So Dalvin Cook on this team is amazing if it can happen again. All signs are pointing in the direction that it will indeed happen coming up here sooner rather than later, with the physical expected here today on Friday. So, again, those two hurdles are at financials and medicals from that standpoint. I will also say, again, I spoke to Zach Hiller, which is Dalvin Cook's agent, 20 days ago, so almost 3 weeks ago. And he said that he was intrigued, tantalized, of course, by the possibility of playing with Aaron Rodgers, viewed the Jets as a contender, viewed them as a Super Bowl team. So what better? So you get Dalvin Cook, who is interesting in a lot of different ways, number one. And number two, you hold them away from Buffalo or Miami, New England, any of these guys. So you add and they can't add. That's a double dipper, baby, which I absolutely love. All right, let's get through a couple of questions here, comments, if you will. John Birkin here. Let's go Jets. Jet the F up is joining us here. Let's see. George is not a fan of the intro. That's okay. Intros for short webcasts. I appreciate that. Well, again, I will also say this since this is a longer form video. So I appreciate, I've had a few people reach out about the intro. And I always listen to you guys, the fans. Obviously, I'm a show by the people for the people. I'm a Jet fan myself on top of doing all the media stuff that I do. And there's been some people that have not been a fan of the intro for one reason or the other. And I will simply say this. I tried to do as much brainstorming as possible in terms of focus groups and length and whether, because obviously I haven't had one for a long time prior to creating it. So I wanted to make sure it was the right length, the right style and energy and everything. So I want you guys to know that I didn't just throw an intro in there willy-nilly. It's a lot of production work, throwing money around and things of that nature to improve the production quality of this program. And after digging in on it, I thought it was a necessary upgrade to the program. Now, for live streams, obviously, you guys do not have the option to skip that. But any of our pre-done videos, which we do throughout the week, the skip option is available if you'd like to do that. So I'm sorry, George, and a couple other people that have been offended by it or didn't like it. Other people have been a fan of it. So I kind of shrug my shoulders and say, for the people that love it, amazing. For the people that don't, I'm sorry. But I always try to improve the product, so I appreciate all the insights. Up another super chat coming in here. Let's throw this up here. Lee Van, I'll chip in for some new headphones. Thank you. Yeah, these are like, I don't know if you guys can tell. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, this thing is hanging on by its, which it's been a great run. A decade with these headphones and doing all these shows. It's been tremendous. So thank you. For throwing some money in the pot. That is amazing. So thank you. Yeah, and hopefully I could get the same ones. I don't know if Revis is still cranking these out. So that was back in his playing days, but nonetheless, that goes a long way, Lee. So thank you for the support on the channel. All right, thank you. That's groovy, baby. I love it. Paul's big time. I don't know about all that, but I appreciate the kind words. Thank you. Fans of the Green Bay Packers, hopefully they could come to a deal. Again, I think so. I can't imagine how they don't with how all this is lined up. Again, if somehow Dalvin's money goes crazy in terms of the request, that doesn't make any sense. And then the medical is the medical, I guess. If there's a surprise on the medical we're not anticipating, but the way he's looked, I would be surprised. Am I going to Sunday's practice? I am not. I am actually not going to any of the training camp practices as constructed. I will be in Canton, Ohio, so a big shout out as we're here live on the show. I am doing my daily show on Thursday, so I do a daily show every day at 7:30. If you guys like morning live streams, or even if you don't, you can watch it after the fact. We also have the audio podcast version. If you search the Jet Zone, which has been my podcast for over a decade, cranking out Jets content, we've been putting Boy Green Daily, the 20-minute bite-sized episodes, on as an audio podcast if you guys prefer that medium. Because of the crazy schedule, in August, I'm going on a cruise for a week. I got the Hall of Fame game next week, so there's no time for the practices, unfortunately, but I will be at all the Hall of Fame ceremonies. I'm credentialed for the Hall of Fame game. I'll be up in the press box. Friday night, we'll be hosting a live event with myself, Jake Asman, Matt O'Leary, so any Jet fans are heading down to Canton, Ohio, baby. I'd love to meet you. We could take pictures, hang out, talk Jets, whatever the hell you want. We could do on that Friday at Jersey Sports Grill, the Belden location. More details on flyers on all my social media, but if any of you guys have questions about that or want to hit me up on the side, again, if you're going to Canton, Ohio, it's a great place where all us Jet fans are going to gather, and some star celebrities will be joining us in Saturday or the Hall of Fame festivities. But no practice, I'm afraid. No practice. I love all of you. Like, I'm randomly doing this at like 12:30 at night, but look all you in here. Bang Mateo, Jets for life. I love all you guys. Ooh, with the Rock theme song. Can you smell what the Rock is cooking? Oh, they got to do something creative, the Jets team. And think about it. I played this earlier. I can't because I don't have the rights, but I sent it out on Twitter. I did like a mock Hard Knocks video with the music underneath of like Dalvin Cook in the streets. That's again, we're going to get that on. Okay, question just randomly, which I love. Marcus Herrera on YouTube. Are you worried about the offensive line? Brown out and not getting younger, and we can't be relying on Becton. It's a fair question, Marcus. First off, on Dwayne Brown being out, no, I'm not. Because the Jets have a very long offseason here, obviously, with the Hall of Fame game. Aaron Rodgers even mentioned it at his presser. Now that they have 2 days off in a row, I could take some time to write some articles and catch up on pressers and really comb through them to give you guys the best insight and sounds and nuggets and things of that nature. I'm going to be tweeting this out. I didn't get a chance to tweet it out before the show, but Robert Saleh said on the Michael K show, this will actually be the theme of Boy Green Daily on Friday morning, July 28th. Hopefully you guys can check it out. Robert Saleh said not only is Aaron Rodgers unlikely to see any of the preseason, but none of the starters basically are, according to Saleh. That one to me is fascinating, that none of the starters would, because he believes the joint practices are so beneficial. So I'll be sending out a poll on that in a little bit after the show, and then I'll be putting all that together. So I'm fascinated by that, whether it's right decision, wrong decision. Again, we'll get to that later. But back to your offensive line thing. Because they have so much time, Dwayne is eventually going to be good. So until some other medical update comes, I'm fine with that. So Dwayne's fine. Now, Mekhi, I'm a little worried about. I'm going to be honest. You had the pitch count, then he was taken out of practice, back in full pads this past practice we just had, but then also like he wasn't participating fully. So the Mekhi Becton thing kind of throws me off right now, as this can continue to change. But Dwayne Brown, left tackle, Max Mitchell, right. That's what I have in my brain right now. So my word about it, no. I have a higher expectation for this offensive line than a lot of people out there. I think Lakin's going to have a great bounce back. AVT is obvious. Center, I believe, will be ultimately Joe Tittman. And then the tackles in which I mentioned. So, no, I'm not worried about it yet, but, we could get worried here in a couple of weeks. Let's also see how the Hall of Fame game goes, although no starters expected in that. Wild conflict. Oh, here we go. Do you think Dalvin Cook can lead the league in rushing in our system? And if so, does that mean Breece Hall is our RB2? Number one, no. In our system, if no one else is there, of course you would have that opportunity, but Breece Hall is going to be a big piece to this puzzle. Robert Saleh was emphatic, saying that this Dalvin Cook flirtation means nothing with the Breece Hall recovery, like he won't be ready. It's just to be extra safe. Again, if you're in this all-in season, why not add things to the coffer? So could he lead the league in rushing if Breece Hall was near? Of course that was possible, but with him here, it is not. And then Breece Hall RB2, I don't look at it that way. I think you have 2 RB1s. I don't think we have to put a label on it. It's like the defensive line that has a healthy rotation. Like, who's the starters? Like, of course, sure, there are some players that will inevitably be starters, the first guys out there, but I think there's a healthy rotation. For me, bringing Cook in and why I want it so bad is you could be cautious with Breece Hall. You could bring Cook in. He could do his business. Let's call it the first 5 or 6 games of the season. Shit, excuse my Guatemalan. Hey, we're getting Boy Green after dark, baby. We're getting a little naughty. But, if you pushed it this far, I don't think you have to. But if you pushed it this far, what's the Jets bye week? Week 7? I'm pretty sure after the Eagles game. Because you're playing for more than September. Like, if Dalvin Cook's here, I'd feel pretty good about resting Breece as much as possible. I feel comfortable with Dalvin, Carter, and those guys, right? Carter, Bam, blah, blah, blah. I don't feel that way if you take Cook out and then you put Breece Hall in there. Again, if the injury never happened last year, that'd be one thing, but it did. So, leading the league in rushing, not possible with the construct of this team. But Breece Hall, RB2, no. RB1, they're both going to get opportunities. I may even think you get some of those plays where they're both on the field at the same time. Stop that, defenses. Armand, bringing up a great point, baby. Make sure you hit the like button, which is great. I love it. Hit the like button, baby. Oh, Chrono Kenny jumping in. Intro length is fine. Music is cool. The people saying you do the best intro is a little annoying. Yeah, that's fine. I will be honest. Obviously, doing radio, I love the sound of my own voice. So is it egotistical and things of that nature? Wow, you do the best intros. Wow, you're so handsome and amazing. Absolutely. I love patting myself on the back. So if that bothers people, I'm an egotistical maniac, so I love anyone showering me with compliments, including myself. Oh, wow. So a lot of just intro stuff here. Armand, I like the intro. You can always shorten it by 15, 20 seconds. Again, so, not to put anyone on blast, but in particular, one of my focus groups was I timed a Jake Asman intro. And Jake Asman's intro that I timed for my So here's what I did. I focus grouped, timed a bunch of other Jets content creator intros. Jake Asman was one of my main examples. And then I brought it to my people that cranked out this wonderful intro, Sheriff Joe Bag, shout out to him. And I said, hey, I don't want it as long as his. I want mine about 10 seconds shorter. So I came up with a badass intro concept. We put all the pieces together, and it was shorter than one of the most popular Jets content creators on the planet. So I said, feel pretty good about that. I feel pretty good. So to be 10 seconds shorter, which I think is a significant amount of time than our top competition, although I love Jake. So he's competition, but I don't view it in that way. So again, I feel solid on the numbers. And if some people like it, they do. If some people don't, again, I'm not trying to say your guys' opinions don't matter. I'm not trying to be rude or anything of that nature, but I just feel like the intro is the intro, and I felt like I did a lot of work and research into it, so I feel pretty good about the decisions there. Outside the echo chamber, still doing the show with Randy. I just have to say, outside the echo chamber, and everyone else for that matter that have asked about mine and Randy's show, it means the world that you've cared so much about digging into this, which is awesome. All I can provide at this point is the politically correct answer that there is some negotiating, some contract things behind the scenes. That's not shade at Randy or anybody else. There's some business that is being determined behind the scenes to figure out if that show's possible and coming up. I've been pounding the table for it to my company about this show. The fans have loved it. And so I've been told that it is very much in their plans. But it would be coming later in the preseason, early in the regular season. So keep an eye out for it. I love that freaking show. Randy Mueller, for those who don't know, a former NFL Executive of the Year. I feel like we have great chemistry. It's been an absolute delight to be able to, kind of have my goofy, whatever you want to call what I bring to the table, paired with Randy Smart's football acumen. I think it's been a beautiful marriage. So I'm really hoping we could get back to it outside the echo chamber. So maybe not the answer you're looking for, but trying to be as honest as possible. We're hoping to have that back soon. Jake, any chance we get an update on Garrett Wilson tomorrow? Concerned with Saleh's past 2 years, saying one thing about injuries and coming out worse than initially thought. Well, as far as I know, unless I'll have to double check the Jets schedule of press conferences, I do not believe Robert Saleh, and I will double check that right now. I do not believe Robert Saleh is expected to speak tomorrow, and I will double check that right now with the stream schedule. Yeah, the next time Robert Saleh is set to speak is on the 30th, which is, what is that, Sunday? Is that right? Yes, Sunday when they return to practice. So we will not get an update outside of the Jets providing their own update on some of those further medical tests. So we will not get a Saleh Garrett Wilson update until at least Sunday in terms of him speaking with the media. Again, he mentioned it, that it seems small, seems insignificant. But to your point, Robert Saleh hasn't exactly had the best history with saying, oh, he's fine. Oh, Jesus, he's terrible. Oh, he's terrible. Oh, wait, he's fine. So as long as Robert Saleh is my doctor, I'm feeling fine, because I don't want Robert Saleh coming in and saying, hey, your leg's great. Oh, thanks, doctor. Next day, you've completely blown your ACL, which, by the way, actually did happen as I'm recovering from my ACL surgery and doing physical therapy. The first doctor I went to, kind of called me a puss and said, hey, it's a sprain, pal, suck it up and get out. And I'm like, oh, okay, you're a doctor. It's like when you go to a mechanic and you say, hey, can I get an oil change? And he's like, hey, you need to get your kerfluffle fixed. I don't question the mechanic. It's his job. I'm like, okay, mechanic, let's go flip that kerfluffle, pal. You're the boss. When a doctor says, hey, we need to do a test on your kerfluffle, I'm like, okay, doc, whatever you say. I don't really question it. I don't even know if we should question it. It's just like they're experts in their field. Okay, if that's what you say, I trust your judgment, pal. So anywho, that's neither here nor there, I suppose. But Lee Van loves the intro. Excellent. So TBD, Jake, on the Garrett Wilson update. I think we're going to have to stick with the one that we have right now. Average Joe, Michael Carter is punching air right now. I've been pretty blunt. I will say this. Michael Carter is hilarious. I love Michael Carter, the personality. I think he's funny. I think he's a good teammate. I think he's very emotional. So, when things like the Dalvin Cook thing, he admitted earlier this week, James Robinson thing kind of pissed him off, made him feel a type of way when the Jets traded for him, like the Jets didn't believe in him, and then he didn't really perform. So it sounded like the emotions kind of got to him a little bit. So, obviously, if Cook arrives, then either Zonovan or Michael is likely off the roster. That's just the blunt truth, probably, I would imagine, in that scenario. So he would be up in the air potentially as a trade target. Joe Caparez has been pretty open about that. So, I feel bad because, again, he's a great personality, but we'll see what happens. Again, this is a now league. Bader, hey, man, huge fan of your content. I'm a Patriots fan. Okay. Didn't see that coming. Although, Bader, I'm going to be honest, I hope we beat you guys with a rusty wrench in both weeks, for that matter, but in particular, week 3. I've had enough of the 14 wins in a row. It's annoying, man. Totally annoying. But thank you for chiming in. We don't discriminate. Hey, whatever fans come in here. One of my favorite series we do during the season is, quote-unquote, Behind Enemy Lines. We bring on an expert from whoever the hell the Jets are playing. And I've had a lot of great networking conversations with people in New England land or other places, and fans who have seemed to really get a kick out of that as well. So thanks, Bader, for joining us. Aaron, Devonta rumors. Hey, I don't know how legit they are, but obviously we all read the piece. I think it was of The Athletic over the offseason where Devonta was pretty critical of some of the Raiders' decision-making and offensive philosophies and things of that nature. And then obviously he was very open about, wow, that Garrett Wilson Rodgers thing looks pretty fun. Maybe. I don't know. Mid-season, there's a lot of cap stuff. I'm not a capologist, but there would be cap things to figure out maybe next offseason, but interesting nonetheless. Interesting. Hey, I wouldn't say no. You think about Corey Davis's number that's floating out there, Rodgers with a restructure, maybe. I think it's possible. Jorge Perez here. Bexton's a serious concern. Trade for a tackle. Easier said than done, Jorge. Who's trading tackles? First off, there's not enough good ones, just in general, number one. Number two, who is if you have a good one, why would you trade him? So, unfortunately, it's one of those things you would like to do, but there's no one to do it with. So, I think the Jets are best served, quite frankly, riding it out with Becton and hoping for the best. Obviously, if he starts, that's a perfect world. The former first-rounder, he starts. But I think there's also something to be said about the other possibility of trying to adjust these things. Sorry, guys. The other possibility of this is, these things, look at this. These things are falling apart. The other thing is you just kind of ride it out. He's in the last year of his deal and try to get the best that you can. That's what I would say. So I am not concerned at this point, but hopefully Becton is healthy. Cook to the slot. He can play a little bit of the slot, so he can play some receiver, which is nice. The versatility is interesting. Timothy, do you feel Zonovan Knight will be released? Of the 4, right now, gun to my head, yes. I think it was Zonovan. But obviously, Michael Carter is very much in that conversation. Maybe he could get traded, Timothy. There's a lot of possibilities there. Cook is a depth move if it happens. Phil Sounds, that's I'd aggressively push back on that. Depth move. Now, I will say this. Obviously, it ensures depth because you don't know what Breece Hall's recovery, but if Dalvin Cook's brought in here, he will be the rock at the beginning of the season. I think that's pretty clear. And for good reason. Like, Breece Hall tore his ACL in October. Give me somebody else to pound the rock, baby. That's what I would prefer. That is absolutely what I would prefer, is somebody else stepping up to the plate. So Cook depth move, it ensures depth, but I wouldn't just say he's a backup and spot starts. Like, he's going to get a lot of the rock earlier in the year. Let's go to this very serious topic, but thank you for the YouTube Super Chat Palace. Could Cook potentially be suspended by the NFL with recent domestic violation accusation? Yeah, let's dive into this. I want to make this clear. I'm not a lawyer. Alleged things are happening here, but I will say this to the directness of the question. No matter what happens with the Dalvin Cook thing, both in the legal courts of whatever can transpire between him and the plaintiff, between the two, whatever happens there will happen there. But the NFL always has the power to enact the policy, and there's all kinds of policies. The gambling policy, substance abuse policy, I'm forgetting the one that is like the most generic, like basically spitting on the shield policy of detrimental to the league, something of that nature. It's after midnight and almost 1 a.m, so my brain is melting, but you get the point. So there's always the possibility for that. So sometimes you could go through the legal system and get nothing, but you get to the NFL and they slap you with 3, 4, 5, 6 games. So that's always possible. And in the reverse fashion, sometimes you could get whacked criminally, come back to the NFL, nothing. So, that's all a perception thing with the NFL. But could he be suspended? Absolutely. He could be suspended. Now, will he or won't he? I don't know. I feel like something of this nature will likely be kicked down the road, a can down the road till next year with how this legal thing is playing out. Think about the Alvin Kamara thing, where it was a Pro Bowl incident from several years ago, and then it all came to a head this year. And then once that played, then the NFL can make their decision. So these kind of things take a ton of time, an absolute ton of time, but it is possible. I can't completely rule it out. We have to see how that situation plays out. But very smart question, Palace, and I think an underrated question that I don't think a lot of people understand fully from that perspective. Okay, let's keep going here. I think Son of a Night can be released. Yes. Boy Green After Dark. Again, we will have to see if that could be its own show. I think that has legs, so I like it. The good people. You're never wrong. Dalvin will be used in the goal line. Yeah, certainly, on top of other things. I think your explosive ability would also be used in the field. That's for sure. So I think Dalvin will be used. That bigger body will come great. Goal line, red zone, that sort of thing. Matthew, I'm going to be honest. Who the F cares about intros unless it's obnoxious, just like Creators Great? Okay, Matthew, I respect the opinion. Jake's is real long. Yeah, again, I think I timed it out. Again, I'm not trying to put him on blast. I love Jake, and we're going to do something together next week. I'll meet him for the first time in person. But as I was trying to figure out a good intro length, not to spend too much time on this, but to try to fully get a grasp, I wanted to test other people's and then come up with my own. And I wanted mine, outside of everyone's being 10 seconds, I wanted mine to be shorter than the others, and it is. But again, I understand it's not going to be for everyone. I'm going to be honest, I'm not for everyone. I know a lot of people love or hate me. There's few people that just go, Boy Green's aight. I'm right in the middle. Few people are like that. And again, I understand. Some people hate me. They don't like my vernacular. They don't like all the weird words, the crazy energy. They don't buy it. That's cool. I'm not for everyone. But I appreciate the people who support. Just give Rodgers everything he needs to win the Super Bowl, which is phenomenal, and he will. Again, he just had the 35 to 33 million, depending on the book in which you pay attention to, $33 to $35 million pay cut, which is believed to be the largest in NFL history. Absolutely wild. Absolutely wild. It's fantastic. Let's go to Kay Newen. Love that you're doing more shows. Yeah, I'm going to be honest, guys. I try to listen to you fans. You guys have requests because, again, this is a show. I say this all the time, but it's not just some generic line on a side of a cereal box. This is a show by the people for the people. I am a diehard Jets fan. I feel like I got a pretty good temperature of what Jet fans want to consume because I'm a Jets fan. However, I love listening to the fans, and you fans have been very vocal that have been a part of my, life and brand for the last decade plus, believe it or not. I've been doing radio and my podcast, my Jets podcast, for over a decade. And I listen to you guys. And one of the constant, not criticisms, but requests is, hey, Paul, can you do more? Can you do more? Can you do more? And I will say for all those fans out there, we have a daily Jets talk video show, every single day, every day of the week, weekdays, weekends at 7:30 in the morning. Now, if you don't want to get up with me, I totally understand. You people should sleep in. But you can also watch it after the fact, and it's a 20-minute show, snack size, and catches you up on the latest Jets happenings with normally a fun guest, some poll of the day ideas, and all kinds of other jazz. So I love doing the shows 2K. I've been thinking about it for a while, and the right business opportunity presented itself. We're doing it every single day. So I'm glad you guys are digging it too. So we're doing that every day. And that will continue for the foreseeable future. The only time I have off is my cruise. I'm going on a cruise in late August. Again, I wish it wasn't in late August because of preseason games, but my fiance would slit my throat. So I guess she just picks it, and we go on the vacation. At least it isn't during the season because obviously I wouldn't go, but that's neither here nor there. That's the only time we will not be doing the Boy Green Daily Show because I will be with a margarita in my hand in Bermuda on a cruise ship. So I would not be in the right state of mind, which maybe would entertain even more people potentially. But those are the only days I'm not doing the Daily Show. So that's going to be going on for the foreseeable future and some superstar guests. I got some big guests booked for next week. I hope you guys enjoy it. I was taught a lesson a long time ago that no matter what big guest you get, you don't promote it till you got it. So I have to leave those nameless for now, but two superstars that I've never had on the show before. I always love networking, getting new people in, but I'm glad you guys are enjoying the content. Thank you, Kay. I appreciate that, pal. We'll get back to some more of these in a second. Again, YouTube super chats. Skip the queue, baby. is what it is. So feel free, everybody. That is your way to go above and beyond to support the program. If you like it, again, we got jacked up headphones. So that is the next purchase of the Boy Green LLC, getting brand new headphones. I got these from Revis, but it's time for an upgrade. So any of your support helps with these YouTube super chats. A free way to contribute, of course, and it's a big help as well. Liking the video and hitting subscribe. We have 150 people in here at 1 a.m. You people are friggin' crazy. Crazy. It's 1 a.m. What are 150 of you even doing in here? But nonetheless, we appreciate it. Let's get to the super chat coming in. Baba_Jet, love it. Oh, what a great mask, man. I hope you wear that to Jets games. All right, let me get your question here. Boy Green, let's say the Dalvin deal gets done this weekend. What other moves or trades do you think are possible for the Jets? Great question. And I'll be releasing a bonus episode. This will be audio only. It's going to come out wherever you find your podcast. If you simply search for The Jet Zone, I'm releasing an interview with Joe Caporoso I did on my radio show yesterday. And we asked this exact question. Here are the names he said. And I think they're phenomenal and sexy as possibilities heading into the trade deadline and things of that nature. So we talked about Zach Martin with the Cowboys. If Lakin's struggling, Zach freaking Martin, the best guard in football? Okay. And the other sexy one he brought up, Mike Evans of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Again, I will try to upload that interview tonight for all you guys who may be commuting to work tomorrow. So again, the Jet Zone is an audio-only podcast, and I upload stuff there all the time. Exclusive stuff to YouTube and also exclusive stuff beyond YouTube. So, guys, feel free to check that out. But Joe Caporoso joined me on my radio show. He joins my radio show every week, every Thursday at 10:30. But I also upload it to my social media platforms. Mike Evans, Zach Martin. So those were some sexy ones. And those are pretty good areas to look. They flirted at wide receiver, offensive line, if you can find it in a unique scenario. And then we'll see. Obviously, there's some Quan rumors hanging out there, things of that nature. But those would be moves. And obviously, you're tantalized by a Devonta Adams thing. So you just got to keep the phone on vibrate for that one. But Mike Evans is the one that Joe Caporoso said that really revved my engine. Again, if the Buccaneers kind of bottom out, if they kind of like collapse like a used lawn chair, and they're terrible, and they're like, well, we don't want to waste Mike Evans here. Let's trade him. So that could make sense as well. But thank you, Baba, for that. All this money, by the way, is going in my new headphone fund. So the more the merrier. The headphones are expensive. Luckily, I got these for free in the Revis contest, but I was just looking at like what these go for, like 500 bones or something. Like in between 200 bones and 500. They could get expensive. So we'll have to do some filtering there. Have to ask my mama for an allowance. Dan jumping in. Phil Cox. Boy Green, you're too nice, dude. You don't like shit. You don't got to be here. This man works his ass off. He gives us the best content possible. Worked hard on his intro, too. I appreciate that, but I also love feedback. So if you guys don't like something, obviously, I'm totally open to hearing it. So, yeah, like I said, show by the people for the people. So I have no problem with people sharing their thoughts on things. Totally open. I'm a wide open book, man. And by the way, it's really hard. Not that I think these people that are questioning the intro hate my guts, but in radio you got to have thick skin. I have people calling me, or Twitter for that matter, for God's sake. Every day people are saying, "Boy Green, I hate you. Go kill yourself. Throw yourself off a bridge." So I get that like every day. You get pretty thick skin in radio and doing this for a living. So. Not that any of the people that were criticizing the intro go that far, but again, I'm cool, man. I'm cool. Let's all have conversations. Justin Jets, intro's fine. You'll never make everybody happy. Some people like complaining. Maybe. Yeah, I can't please everyone, of course. How hard are you? Wow. Okay, we're getting dirty in here. Okay, let's skip a few of these. Wow. Okay, here we go. Always question mechanics and always get a second opinion when it comes to doctor. Here's my problem, Dad, because this is probably the difference. I don't know I don't know your personal story. I know nothing about cars, so I don't think I have a lot of it. And you see it in my world, confidence. How do you display confidence? Being loud and having an assertive voice. When I was on the football field and I had an assertive voice, like it kind of displays confidence for people when you're louder, like, wow, okay, this guy believes in whatever he's got going on in his life. Like there's some confidence there because of like the mechanic. If he goes like, hey, you need your kerfluffle change or your oil change, I'm like, are you sure? What was that? Are you sure? And I'm like, never mind. But maybe you should. Like the second opinion. Well, I got the second opinion on the knee, thank God. The first guy said it was a sprain, and then it kept bothering me. So I got a second opinion. He said, Jesus, this thing's destroyed. And I'm like, oh, God, thank God I went to the second doctor for Pete's sake. So I did. So second opinion, I did go on the doctor, but not on the mechanics, not on the cars. But thank you. Let's go to this one on Facebook. Will. So nothing imminent as far as Cook is concerned. I feel like when you say imminent or like on the verge, it's like it could happen at any second. There are some clear hurdles that have to happen here, Will, before this happens. And those can happen quickly. He's having a physical where the Jets doctors will get their hands on him and his shoulder and clear that, number one. And then thus the physical that goes with it. And then number two, the financials. But again, I think the financials, I'm not saying they're figured out, but it's close enough that you would have the visit. So imminent, like, while we're doing the show live, it could come in. I doubt that because of, again, he just flew in a little bit ago. There's the Good Morning Football. There's the meetings. There's the physical. Like, I don't think it's imminent like it's happening any minute, but I am fully anticipating it happening, quite frankly, over the weekend. I am fully anticipating that. So take that for what you will. Again, I've been as close as I can about this situation. Sluggo, Becton, Clemens, and McDonald, their project. Well, McDonald's look good, though. That bend, that wiggle he's shown in practice, the crazy arm length, the crazy bend and spin moves, like, man, he could pop this year. And I love Clemens, obviously. Becton certainly is a project. There's no question. 30 minutes behind on the live stream. Yeah, again, see, this is another reason why I think the Boy Green morning shows are so great. It's every single day at 7:30, no matter what. No matter what. I'm always there at 7:30. So, like, shows like this where, I've been at the radio station all day, so I've been doing work for the radio station. I was doing Jets work over here and over there. So, obviously, there's a lot of news today, but I'm kind of glad I waited because I was able to kind of sort out my thoughts on the Dalvin Cook thing and be able to give you guys a clear and concise message. But some of these shows, I'm just like, I got to go on. We got to go on, baby. So I just kind of come up with the live stream, and then 10 minutes later, I'm on. So I get those people don't get to get the full shish kebab. But so hopefully you enjoy it nonetheless, Hyder. It's great having you in here. Yep, as Kay says, hit the like button. Hennessy Heisman, one of my favorites. God, look at that clean-ass jersey he's got. Look at Hennessy. Look at that handsome bastard on there. Good beard game, too. Oh, yeah, Bader. It's 8 a.m. here. I'm not even a Jets fan, but I have to keep an eye on the division. 8 a.m. here. God bless you. God bless you, man. That is beautiful. Let's see here. Bakhtiari. Yeah, maybe. He's a good friend of Rodgers. I don't know what the money looks like. Oh, like the compensation to the Packers, but why not? Buddha gosh darn Baker. He just got some raises from Arizona, Ricky. So unfortunately, he is staying in Arizona. He got a raise both for this year and next year. Oh, okay. Yeah, I totally destroyed that, obviously. Boba Jet. Not, yeah, or Boba Jet. Boba Jet. Like Boba Fett. Yeah, I got you. Yeah, I totally destroyed that. Would I trade my number one for Adams? Well, technically you can, actually. It's what they call in the business a frozen asset because the Jets' second-round pick is conditional and it could potentially become a first. The Jets are restricted from trading their first or second next year because of the rights to the Packers. So that's some NFL funky language, but again, it's technically labeled as a frozen asset. So the highest pick the Jets can trade in next year's draft is a third-rounder, or else they'd have to get creative with other things. Hank G, I just got to say, that is one of the coolest quotes ever. Again, the Sean Payton shade was like, where the hell did that come from? But I thought Saleh handled it in the best way that he could. I also heard him on the Michael K show. It wasn't enough to grab the clip for you guys, but he said, like, I expected more, basically, from Sean Payton, because obviously he's done a few media. He did the media with the actual media, and then he did it with the Michael K show. And, yeah, if you don't have haters, you ain't popping. I love that. Saleh, always with the lines, man. Not quite Rex Ryan or Ron Middleton, but he gets it done. Driving to Long Island. Glad I get live Boy Green. You damn right, baby. Breaking news in about 12 hours, boys. Fingers crossed. That may be 12. Let's see. So I don't know when you sent this. So you sent this at 1:05. So like 1:05 p.m. Maybe that'd be right. What's Good Morning Football? What are they, like 6 to 10 or something? So they have 6 to 10. Cook meetings, Cook physical. Maybe that's probably about right. Hennessy on the end of checking off those boxes. I could see that. Yeah, I'm totally sure. By the way, getting back to this random mechanic thing with Dan, yeah, 100%. They operate in the position of like high ground. Star Wars reference for all our Star Wars people. Like they're operating from high ground. They're assuming I'm never going to question it, and they can also, again, they can, for like the dumb people like me that know nothing about mechanics, they can say, boy, I know I told you this was a 500 job, but your kerfluffle, I keep using that as the example, your kerfuffle tire rotator just blew a gasket, pal. That'll be $3 billion. And I'm like, oh, okay. So that makes sense. So AFC Roundtable. I do not. I did that in the past, but not to say that, like, hey, you do it once and it didn't work. I did an AFC Roundtable of sorts, and then it had not contraction. That'd be weird. No traction whatsoever. The fans didn't seem to dig it, unfortunately. So I did set one up in the past with some cool guests, but not enough people kind of picked up on it. Like I've done fantasy for the Jets. Like, hey, here's the, Jets players you should be drafting in fantasy. Now, I get it. It'd be more relevant this year than 2 or 3 years ago when I had the guy on, but that also did not get traction. So I try stuff, I try to experiment and bring different elements to the table, and the things that work, let's go. The things that don't, like, okay. Oh, Sluggo, I like these late lives. I'm retired. Okay, I'll start trying to get more of these in here. And by the way, you should get used to them anyway. Think about it. They're primetime games. So if the primetime games start at, like, let's call it 8 o'clock. She got like a 3-hour game. It's over at 11 or midnight, right? So for my work, we put up a score graphic. This is getting way in the weeds, but we put up a score graphic as soon as the game's over. And then we wait an hour to do something else, normally an article. And then an hour after that, we do a live stream. So normally I don't go live. We'll have to see how that works for primetime games. But normally I don't go live on our show feed until 2 hours later, which normally helps because I could get Jet sound bites and stuff like that. But we'll see how that works this year. That's for sure. California, Jets West. Yeah, it's a lot more of a reasonable time for you. That's for sure. Brees and Cook, best tandem in the NFL. You could definitely make that argument. That's for sure. Oh my goodness. AJ coming in with the 50 piece. Good Lord have mercy. Wow. AJ, thank you for that. That is beautiful, man. Hope you have your own version. Well, your voice is certainly heard. Jay Stones also is retired. Okay, that went right in the headphone piece, which, by the way, again, is these headphones are hanging on for dear life. Wowza. That will go right into the pile. That will help accelerate the funds, that's for sure. So beautiful. Thank you, AJ, for that super kind contribution to the show. Yeah, we'll see. I will maybe have to reconsider some of these other items we tried in the past to bring something up. So I'll have to dig in. MetLife will finally have the Jets and Giants logos at the 50. Thank God. I don't know why they didn't, quite frankly. Didn't make sense. I also like the retro one. I like it, but I don't. It's kind of weird inside the football, the old school Jet thing, but, I could get used to it. From that standpoint. How many Jets players will be in the top 100? That's a good question. So Garrett's already in there. That's the only one I've seen so far, but Garrett, Sauce, Quinnen, CJ Mosley, DJ Reed, I hope, is in there. Who else am I missing? Aaron Rodgers, that counts, right? Yeah, he was in there. Six. Yeah, Quinnen, Sauce, DJ, Garrett is already in there. Aaron Rodgers in there. Yeah. 6. Final answer. Yes. 6. Mm-hmm. And more to come, hopefully. Are we signing Cook? Yeah, I do believe it's going to happen over the weekend. Again, a couple of protocols. I talked about this earlier, but a quick recap because I know people come in and out of the show. Are we signing Cook? Yes, couple hurdles. There is my brain's not working. There's the medicals. They got to check them out there. And then the financials. And he's taken a physical, so I think it all could come together pretty quickly. Yeah, I'm going to be honest. I didn't know what form of money that was. Normally, if it gets really high up there, the colors change. So those were pesos, apparently, 50 cents. Hey, chip. I know I called it $50. My American, just everything $50. Yeah, that must have been pesos. But either way, I accept apparently all forms of money, so I will take it. Let's see. Paul, who do you think will be the starting LT in RT week 1? I'm pulling for Becton, but if Brown is healthy, I don't see it, sadly. Yeah, Becton, without him being healthy, I think Dwayne Brown is the guy at left tackle. Right tackle, right now I'm saying Max Mitchell. We'll see. I think maybe Becton can be the key left tackle. So if Dwayne gets hurt, you immediately just kind of rise up Becton as opposed to him flipping, playing both. That's my gut right now, which has changed over the last couple of months because I thought Becton for sure was going to be in that starting lineup, but I feel less certain about it now than ever, honestly. Well, guys, I just want to say thank you so much for jumping on here on the program. This was freaking phenomenal. It was awesome to be doing this random live stream late at night. I've got more Jets work to do, but in a handful of hours, I'll be live again. We'll be with, Jets Talk Radio at 7:30 in the morning. So that is like 6 hours away. I'm not going to get any sleep, but we'll be back at 7:30 in the morning with Jets Talk Radio. We'll be talking about, and here's the topic so you guys can think about this. I'll actually put up a poll on Twitter here in a second. But Robert Saleh basically said that none of his starters are basically going to play in the preseason, which I think is an interesting decision. Is that right move, wrong move? We'll let you guys decide. I'll be putting that poll up shortly. And again, we'll see you back here in a bunch of hours, 7:30 in the morning. We'll see you then. Thanks for tuning in, everybody.